Oh, I get another unannounced live feed of something that should probably be done not live. I ran through some of this custom scenario once already. In fact, I did film it, but it ran about 45 minutes. And I guess it's been a while since I've done anything World War II, such that there was a lot of rust as far as rules and things that I didn't post it, so I left it at that. So again, this is a second attempt to run through this custom scenario, which should not probably be done live because I still feel like there's a lot of things that need to be ironed out that haven't, but we'll just do the best we can as we run through it. What I have is, as mentioned in the title card, roughly 1944, U.S. Paras moving into a French village that is being held by German Paras. And obviously this will be run solo, and you'll see how I do that soon enough. But each building hex, that is to say each hex that has a building on it, could potentially have Germans in it. Not all of them will. There are only 7 German squads total that I face. So only, you guessed it, 7 of these building hexes will contain Germans. We just don't know which ones yet. That becomes determined as we move forward as the Americans and place ourselves within a line of sight of potentially existing Germans. Again, we'll see how that works as we run through it. So let's just get started. We do have, as I said, 7 German squads with 3 leaders and 9 U.S. squads with 3 leaders. You could argue that isn't an unbalanced scenario, but the Germans have the benefit of significant amounts of cover at the game start, so I feel like it's balanced enough. All right. We'll move up first with rally phase does not apply right now, nor does the prep fire phase. This is the U.S. turn. So we'll start with the movement phase and bring our first German unit up. Now with the U.S. squad up, with the Germans, they do have, these are 5.4.8s. So the range on these squads is only 4 hexes. However, there are 3 light machine guns somewhere, and we have to act as if, for instance, there is a light machine gun here, although there may or may not be. We have to assume that there is for purposes of these solo mechanics that I have come up with. That said, the range of the light machine gun is at 8 hexes, so this should be, these guys should be within range. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, definitely within range. So that triggers the drawing of this building right here. What does that consist of? That consists of these chits, 18 of them, 1 for each potential hex, and then 7 red chits for these 7 Germans that could potentially be drawn. So we'll go ahead and draw 1 and see what we get. And we get nothing. So that's a good, because that potentially allows the U.S. to get the cover before things start getting hairy. The other thing I'll mention is the camera angle is a little severe, kind of a point of view, first person perspective somewhat. Usually it's overhead camera for me, but so this gives me a chance to experiment with a camera angle that we may see more of in the future if we get some positive feedback on that. So there's 1, didn't trigger anything here. I don't think we have, as this tree/rough woodsy terrain is going to block line of sight from this building hex here. So there's nothing going on there. Now this is not blocked. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, just within range of a potential light machine gun. So we need to draw for this building here. And we get, again, nothing. The last time I played this, we got immediate German resistance. but this is not the case. Also, as mentioned, we need, as the Americans, 10 to control 10 building hexes. This will allow 2 quick victory points since they're not occupied. Is there anything else I'm triggering from this hex? I don't think that there is. So that's 1, 2, still nothing. Unless, no, nothing there. 2, 3, 4. That would be the extent of his movement. Unless, no, still nothing. And so, as that's the result, we can go ahead and put him here. Move the rest of these guys up. I don't want to stack any more than possible. So we may not see everybody on table just yet. There's that. I think, no, it would be 6 if he's with a leader. Let's assume he started with a leader for sake of time and expedite this. That's 5. And he should now possibly be within line of sight of this, and he's not. Okay. Once he gets to here, he will be. So let's go ahead and move him there. So there's our maximum allowed movement with an attached leader, which is 6. Move everybody up as well, and that will definitely put him in line of sight of another building that we haven't tested for German resistance yet, which will be this one here. Let's go and do that now. We'll draw and see what we get. We have, yep, so on our third attempt, we do have German resistance in this building here. That will consist of a single squad and a light machine gun. However, we need to draw for an attached leader, so we'll do that as well. And though he's not physically in the building, it is assumed that that squad is in the building. So yeah, he does have an attached leader. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll roll the die and see which leader there is. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's just the 7 neg leader, 7 neg 0. And we'll put him in the hex as well. So 2 of the first 3 buildings were unoccupied. The middle one was, and still the movement phase. He moved up here, which puts him now in line of sight of those fellers who will fire, and they're going to need all these crazy, wacky modifiers for moving in the open and non-assault movement. So let's add it up. 5, 6, 7, 8. Put this here. Where's my blue ruler? I need it in my life. Here, and he's got an attached leader, but no modifiers there, so there's that. Roll 2 dice. Remember, rate of fire. Drop everything by 2. -2 on the die roll, and this could be bad. Oh, good. They rolled a crappy roll. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 drops to 8. The cat agrees. So that's going to be a normal morale check. And we lost rate of fire on the light machine gun. So let's take our morale check as a leader first. Needing a 9 or less. He should be good to go, and he is. Now we do the squad with the leader's -2 modifier. The US pairs are 7, 4, 7, so we need a 7 or less -2. 6, 7, 8, 9. Drop 2 of that. Brings us to 7, so they're just fine. Did that put us in line of sight of anybody else? No. Okay. Movement phase is over. Defensive fire phase, and I needed to mark those fellers as first fire. Now we go to as mentioned, defensive fire phase, and I need, this is why I shouldn't be filming this live, but that's how it goes. Defensive fire phase. Okay. So, according to this, during final fire, any of the defenders, let's see, defensive fire phase, portion of defensive fire. This is strictly during defensive fire is called final fire. Not marked with a first or final fire counter may fire. Units that are marked with a first fire counter may also fire again, but only at units in an adjacent hex. Unit marked with first fire has its firepower halved. It doesn't sound right, but this is the starter kit rules, so I will abide by them. So I'm under the impression they could fire again. But according to this, as just read, units that are marked with a first fire counter may also fire again, but only at units in adjacent hex. Well, that's that. Argue with me if you will. Advancing fire phase really only allows the guys that were just fired at the fire, so Americans will fire back. We've got, again, 747. There is no 7 column. Drops to a 6, but we get the leader modifier of -2. That is further amended by the, what are we going to call these? Wooden buildings. So the wooden building, which is a +2, so those wash each other out. Simply just the result of 2 dice. We get a 9, and that's not enough. We just missed a pin task check, but otherwise not enough. Now we have route phase, which does not occur, and advance phase. So advance phase, a couple ways we could approach this. We could place ourselves adjacent to this building and then dash into it. But that also places us in the open during the German turn. I don't like that idea. I'm going to go the conservative route, place us adjacent to the Germans and place us in the woods. Now that also allows for potential close combat. We shall determine if and or when that is the case. Further advancing is everybody else. And at this point, we should now have everyone on. No, we don't. Okay, we still don't. We're still missing 2 squads and a leader that are yet to enter the tabletop. So most everybody else is on. All right, that is the end of the event. Now we do the close combat phase, and you know what? Let's just go ahead and do it. Let's close combat the Americans heading right into here. I'm going to move this up. Part of the reason I did it like this, so you can see better. Put us right there. We're going to do, give me a smaller, there we go. No, actually, let's go visual aids, guys. Visual aids. Let's go this route. What's going on here? What's going on is we're going to do close combat from this hex to that hex. Visual aid. I know in full ASL you would roll for a potential ambush or surprise, but we're not going to mess with that. And so we do our odds. We have 7 versus, what is it, 5? 6, 7, 8, because they can use the light machine gun, so it's really just 1-to-1 odds. 2 dice. Rolled a 7. Kill number's a 5, so we didn't get it. And they'll roll back. Same deal if they roll less than a 5, and they didn't. So they're locked in melee right now. Let's see if I can do this with the camera. It looks a little blurry. So we'll take that off. Now the Germans' turn. Now we can get prep fire phase. There's nobody to use prep fire on. at the opening round, so now we can work some of that out. This will be the Germans' official response to the Americans' opening sequence. Let's bring this around. There is nobody to route, so we'll scoot right across the route phase right into the prep fire phase. And looking at what I'm looking at, we've also, by moving into this hex here, placed ourselves within line of sight of this front half of the church. And so we have to draw for potential German occupancy of that hex from our cup. And we get another German defender in this hex. It will be squad without a light machine gun. And does that squad have an attached leader? We will find out. They do not. Let's move the camera so we can maybe see that right here. Now you can kind of see, if you look thusly, right here, you can see this German defenders in the initial front part of the church hex there. All right, prep fire phase. Where's prep fire marker? Let's get a couple of these because we're gonna have a couple of prep fires. Let's fire with, and we got point blank range here, so they will double their firepower. That's scary, scary stuff, Ed. Did you know that, Ed? Sir, yes, sir. All right, there we go. That's another 8, and there is an 8 column. So we'll roll that up, and no leader modifier on that, but it is point blank fire, so that 8 becomes a 16. We will have a modifier for the woods there, so it drops by 1 on whatever we roll. We roll a 3, drops to a 2, and that's 2 KIA, so guess what? These are gone. So we just lost a squad and a leader. We being the U.S. That's a little worrisome. These guys will not prep fire because now they have nobody to prep fire at, since those guys were eliminated. And the prep fire phase, movement phase begins. I don't think anybody's going to be moving German-wise at this point, so we'll leave that as it is. And defensive fire phase, we've got nobody that can fire because this woods hex blocks line of sight from this U.S. paratrooper to these guys, so there's nothing doing there. We're moving right along advanced fire phase. Nobody moves, so we don't have advanced fire phase. Let's see. Defensive fire phase, advanced fire phase, route phase, and advanced phase. No close combat brings us back to rally phase and the American turn. Okay. So a lucrative response from the Germans back to the U.S. Let's pull the camera back again right here. We need to get moving is what we need to do. Nobody can prep fire at this point for the Americans. So it's now the movement phase. We'll move these guys into the woods as well, adjacent. That triggers defensive fire, first fire from the Germans here. And it will also trigger defensive fire from the Germans here, assuming they're within range, because we don't have a light machine gun here. Range on these fellers is 4, so 1, 2, 3. Yes, they are within range, so all right. Fair enough. Oh, God. All right, so it's the same deal. It's going to be 16 again because of point blank fire, and moving into that hex is probably just a bad idea from here on out for the Americans. -1, remembering rate of fire. I'll be damned, we got rate of fire. So 4, 5, 6, 7 drops to a 6. That is a +2 morale check. Yeah, I don't think I have any business moving in that hex again. +2 morale check. Americans have a morale of 7. 5, 6, 6. They just broke, so this squad's broken now. For those of you unaware with what I'm talking about, broken squad means they're just freaked out. They're no longer, at least temporarily, combat effective. They're not firing. They're just kind of like freaking out, hunkering down. More of an emotional state than anything else. I did maintain rate of fire, and I also forgot my -2 modifier on that. It would have broken anyway, so alright. That's a moot point. And they maintain rate of fire, so that 3 drops to a 2. Let's roll for that. 6, 7, 8, 9, nothing, but guess what? And 4, 5. Let's start this over. Maintain rate of fire. Even though it's 2, it's going to be a 4 because of point blank fire. -1 for the woods. Yes. Or +1 for the woods. I'm sorry, +1. So 6, 7, 8 is nothing, but we still maintain rate of fire. Let's do that again. +1 for the woods. No rate of fire. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and nothing doing there. So now we hop to. Where's my other? Here it is. We hop to these guys firing here. On thusly. Let's move the camera again so you can see what I'm talking about without destroying everything that I hold dear to my life. So this squad here, right, firing at these guys that moved into the woods. No light machine gun. They just have these straight 5. No 5 column drops to a 4. -2 because of no, he was not moving in the open. He moved in cover, so just -1. All right, here we go. Roll doubles, so he cowers. That drops to a 2. 8 becomes now a 7, and he got nothing on that shot. Okay. Now if here's a new hex. So moving, let's back up again here. If I move, why does God hate me sometimes? Let's see, 1, 2, 3 is definitely. So moving in here puts me within, let's just worry about when we get there. 1, 2, 3, he's now in there. There being this. So that now is 1 victory point, because that's now American controlled, US controlled building. We need how many more? 9, 2, 4, 6, no, 8. No, 9. So there's 1 as our first victory point. And then, but then moving in there, we need to draw for the, again, let's move the camera so you can see what I'm talking about. We need to draw for the, you can't see it because of this tree, this walled cemetery right here, and see if there's German defenders there. So let's do that now. Probably will be, just a gut feeling. And there's not. So we can pull that out. Nobody in the cemetery except dead people. German zombies. Okay. So then we can move the rest of these guys up, can we not? Not moving there, that's cursed. 1, 2, 3. Is it time to stack for the safety of the building? Maybe. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's put the leader in there as well. Again, these guys aren't physically inside the building, but they are, for our intents and purposes, inside the building. Put him here. No. I know what I said about this, but he's broken. Put him here. Let's see what I'm doing. Put him here. Where's my leader? There he is. All right, now we good? Everybody happy? And no, we're not happy. Now we can bring everybody on table here. No, I'm not stacking. I'm not doing it yet. Just makes multiple targets. All right, so there's that. Can we move this up now? Move it on up. Go right down the smack dab. Right down the smack dab. There we go. Okay, that's our movement phase, which is now finished. Defensive fire phase, yes, we can, because if we have some folks adjacent. Let's flip this. It is area fire, which means halved, but it's also point blank fire because they're adjacent. So that balances out to just a normal 8 for those guys. Those guys being these guys in this building hex right here that you can't see because of the tree. Right here, I'll leave the tree out for a second so you can see what I'm talking about. That was going to be a -1, but then there's the tree, so the +1, so that washes out. And 6, 7, 8. It's normal morale check. He got it. Good. Okay, so Germans caused a morale check on the fresh squad that just moved in there, but he passed it. Advanced fire phase. So these guys can fire at half firepower. The guys that just moved in there, they have firepower of what? Of what? Where's the U.S. squad at? How am I missing the U.S. squad? 747. The U.S. squad, it's right there representing them being broken. Okay, so 7 drops to a 6. Goes up to a 12 for point blank fire. No, wait, start off. Would be a 6, but had for moving, but then doubled again, makes 6. Add 2 for the wooden building. We rolled a 12, which is not good. So basically, he's going to have nothing. He cowers. And 6, yeah, nothing doing there. And also, typically, there would be fun stuff that happens on a roll of 12, if I remember correctly. We're going to ignore that. These guys have line of fire. They will also get to roll on the 6th column, adding 2 to the die roll for the wooden building. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is a normal morale check on the Germans, starting with the leader. So he needs a 7 or less. You got it. And this squad needs a 8 or less, believe it or not. And he failed it. So that squad's broken. Interesting result. I think that's it. Advancing fire phase, yeah, that's it. No, it's not. Because we have all this stuff here. So let's add that up and fire. Let's not add that up. Let's do it this way. Let's try and get rid of this. So we'll fire across. It's the same distance from the other guys. Not that that really makes a difference. So 14. Well, 14 column drops to a 12. -1 leader for directed fire. +2 for the wooden building. So it's +1 on the die roll. 8 becomes a 9. 9 is a normal morale check. Again, leader first. That leader is a 7. He's fine. And then the broken squad who has a broken morale of 8 or less, and he's fine. Does get casualty, desperation morale. I'm sorry, I can't. So I've got a desperation morale thing, which makes it harder to rally when it comes time to do so. Route phase, he has to route to the back of the building because he can't be adjacent to a good order U.S. squad. Leader can go with him, I presume. I don't know why he wouldn't. They don't want to be left there alone, and he does no good for him to be there with it while the squad is broken. So all that moves back here. And one thing at a time. Final fire, move this here. I'm going to say they left that. No, the leader would have taken it. Okay. So they routed. Actually, he would need to route as well. So put him there. So that's the end of the route phase. Then we do our advanced phase. This gives us another victory point for taking this half of the building. So now we have 2 of our 10 victory points required as the U.S. But in doing so, we have now, I can't tell if I have line of sight. Yeah, we do. Line of sight from this building to that building. And I'm going to say yes, we do. So now we draw for bouncy cam here. Now we draw for this building hex here, behind the tree, directly behind the tree. That may be, there may be more we need to draw for as well. In fact, there is. But we get nothing, so there's nobody there. And then we need to draw for the back half of this building here, since the Americans moved inside to the this adjacent half. That triggers potential German resistance in the back half. If there is, there's going to be a lot of Germans in that building, and that's Hex. What's it going to be? Nothing. Just fine by me because I only have so much room to work with. So there's that. And what is this? Our advanced phase. So that there. Anybody else? Yes. Being here also triggers potential from here, the back half of that church. So we're going to draw for that. Back half of the church, nothing. Get rid of that. Anything else that we've triggered by being here? I think that's it at this point. Nope. Yep. Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's this tree here really blocks a lot of stuff. That's it for now, though. Okay. So at this point, we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 German squads that need to be triggered. Only 2 of them have been. So let's move everybody up again. We'll move into the woods here. That's 1. Over here, that's 1. Here, 1. And here, 1. So I tell you honestly, the U.S. really lucked out at the start because all it would take is one good light machine gun at the end of this road as they were moving up to just wipe them out, which is more or less what happened the last time I tried to play this custom scenario. So back to what? The German turn? One of these. No, it's not the German turn. We could do close combat if we wanted. Do we want? I'm not doing it. No, I'm not doing it. U.S. could close combat this. You know, why wouldn't I? For God's sakes. That's a broken German squad. Now, here's my next question, and this is something I don't know. If you close combat a broken German squad, I mean, that's pretty much a done deal, right? Only unbroken units may attack, but even broken units defend, although they suffer -2 die roll modifier to close combat attacks against them. So okay, fair enough. But yeah, let's still go ahead and do this. 7-4-7-7 drops to a 6. What do they have? 5. That's going to be 1-1 again, but -2 because they're broken. So let's do Americans first. We rolled a 6-7-8, drops to a 6, +1 morale check. 4, 5, 6. On that German squad's fine. They do fight back. Was it a 5-4-8? 5-4-8, yeah. 5. Okay, so 1-1 again still. I'm gonna be mad if this works out to their advantage here. And it does. That American squad just got wiped out by a broken German squad and lost control of the building. What should have been a sure thing was nothing. So now we have 2 U.S. squads as casualties and 1 U.S. leader. That was ridiculous. Close combat attack on a broken squad, and it backfired, and the U.S. squad got lit up. All right, it is now the Germans' turn, and I'm irritated. It's my fault. I underestimated the Fallschirmjäger. What do I want to do? We need to rally. So we have a U.S. squad here that needs to rally 8 or less. Surely he's got it. And he does. He's back. Welcome back. And a German squad, also 8 or less. 6, 7. He got. Oh, he had desperation morale though. So plus what? +4 on that. So that would have been 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Would have failed that. And let me check something here. Okay, yeah. Casualty reduction is what I was trying to refresh myself on. No casualty reduction on a failed rally, only if you roll 12. So he's just still broken there. All right, that's fine. Again, German turn. Let's go with prep fire phase, yes. And we only have, well, we've got 2 triggered German squads. One of them's broken, so that leaves just 1 good order German squad here. It's going to prep fire into that building and hopefully get a good result because we got 2 squads and a leader stacked in there. 5, 4, 8, no 5 again, so it drops to the 4 column. They do not have a light machine gun. +2 for the wooden building. So what happens? We get a 3. Add 2 gives us a 5. It's a +1 morale check for everybody in there. Pretty good stuff. Leader first. 5, 6, 7, 8. He's fine because he's a 9. And then regular morale check because he has a -1 die roll modifier, so everybody else is 7 or less. 5, 6, he's fine, and he's not. So one of those squads just broke from the prep fire of that Fallschirmjäger squad. Is that it on that? Movement phase. I'm going to do an auto movement phase for the Fallschirmjäger and try and move. So for instance, the stuff that has been triggered line of sight wise by US movement has all been triggered. But we can assume that, so for instance, this building here, which has already been triggered, we can assume that this half of the building that has not, we will move that potential trigger within line of sight to things that are going on, okay? Does that make sense? Same with, and I'm doing this with the understanding that the Germans are not triggering American line of sight, and they are not. So again, this is kind of a weird movement phase if you're the Germans, but it is a movement phase. So I think that's all we can do. And none of that movement, again, triggered any US stuff because it wasn't in line of sight. So now we can head right to defensive fire phase for the Americans. Anybody not marked with a first fire marker can fire and do so at full strength, which really only allows for, nope, I can take that back. These guys can fire, and it's going to be 7, 6 column +2 for the wooden building. We get, oh my god, +2 morale check. We rolled a great roll there, so they get a +2 morale check. They are 5, 4, 8, so 6 that he broke. We just broke that German 5, 4, 8. We need another German marker. Exciting stuff. 5, 4, 8. Where's all my stuff? Where's my stuff? I need to get all my German and US squads here. I think I would need to use these, but as it turns out, it's just easier to use these counters to represent states of order here. So 5, 4, 8. German in the church. What is that crackling? Germans in the church have broken by some savvy US fire. This is a 5, 4, 8. No. Is this a 5, 4, 8? Yes. All right, so we'll put these guys broken status here. So at this point, any German squads, which really only consist of 2, are both broken. Nobody else has been triggered, and I haven't really considered how to go about a situation like this. Let's just play it by ear. Interesting situation. Is the German turn that was defensive fire from this US squad here. Now we have defensive fire from the one of the 2 good ordered US squads there with a leader directed fire, -1 DRM. That's going to be 7 drops to the 6th column and +1 modifier for the wooden building, which is technically +2, but again, -1 for the leader. So now we have a 4, 5, 6, 7, and that is a normal morale check. He's already broken. Let's go ahead and try that. 6, 7, 8. He is fine, but you guessed it. Fred Garvin, desperation morale on him. So there's that. All right. That should be it for defensive fire. Advanced fire phase, no. A route phase, yeah, no. Advanced phase. One hex. I wish I could advance some Germans into here and reclaim that hex. I don't have any that will be able to do so. So that's that. And then close combat, nothing doing there. Brings us back to the American turn. American turn starts with rally phase. We've got a broken squad here that needs to rally, so let's do that. 8 or less on him. We've got 8, so he pulls that off. He's back in business, better than ever. We have 2 German squads that need to rally. One, the original broken squad here, 8 or less. He still can't do it. And this guy here, 8 or less as well, but he has desperation morale. He's never going to rally. No, he didn't. In fact, what did I just read? If he rolled 12 when trying to rally, that is casualty reduction. He is now a half squad, broken half squad. So that 5-4, what's half of a 5-4-8? I need a, here we go, 5-4-8 half squads. 2-3. So now he's a broken 2-3-8. Looking for our 2-3-8s. We have them right here. Broken 2-3-8 right there. And there's that. Okay. American turn. Prep fire phase. Yeah, we got some stuff. I don't want to prep fire him though, because I want him to move right in there, so he's out. But I will prep fire these guys and try and finish off the Germans in that church. Doing so allows me to fire 7-7, 14, 14 column drops to 12 with a +1 die roll modifier. And sure enough, I roll the worst I can roll. 11, just about the worst. So nothing. Nothing on that. They are all prep fired and done. Bunch of junk. I don't know where all my prep fire markers are. Prep fire. What's happened to all of them? I thought I had them. Move them out. Get out of here. Prep fire. That does not count as a shot. I knocked it over on purpose. If I accidentally knocked it over, it'd be a shot. Is that it on the prep fire? Yeah, I think that's it. Movement phase. Absolutely. Moving here, we now regain control of that and add our victory point for the U.S. But it also triggers German resistance from this location that was newly moved into last turn, if you remember. So we draw another chip, and we get, yeah, we have resistance. So that was in fact a legit squad that moved in there with a light machine gun. And we need to draw for a detached leader. I'm guessing yes, and no. I would be wrong. So no attached leader. That leaves 4 unactivated, as of yet, German squads and 2 unactivated leaders. What just happened? He moved into there, which will trigger fire from the newly activated squad with a light machine gun and that hex. I don't know. Can you guys see what's going on here? I'll move camera. Drunken cam here. So again, German squad. Let's move the tree temporarily. German squad here, firing at Americans in here in the building. Tree does not block line of sight for that. That's going to be a 5, 6, 7, 8 +2. However, no, they don't get movement in open. They don't get non-assault. All right, so it's +2. What do they get? They get an 8, which cowers. So now we're at the 6th column, and an 8, and +2, nothing. So there's that. He gets the first fire marker. I forgot to check rate of fire. Let's roll it now. He has a light machine gun. He got it. So we can roll on that. 2 column. Adding 2. That's nothing. And did he get rid of fire this time? He did not. Okay, first fire there. I need to, I can't do it now, but I have other potential auto German movement that needs to happen further back. Okay, focus. Let's see. He can move in too as well, right? No, actually, check this out. Ready? If I move, let's back up a little bit. If I move here into that building, I can get another victory point for the U.S. by occupying it. However, here's the trick. I've now triggered two more potential German resistance hexes, so we'll draw for those. Starting with my off camera here, let's move. Starting with this half of this building here. Okay, it's just this half of the building because everything shifted up with that last German movement, right? So we'll draw for that, and we get nothing, so nobody's there. And then we'll draw for the other half of this behind this building here. This 2 hex building here, we have to draw for the back half of that. Drawing for that, and we get nothing. Getting down to the wire here. So it looks like a lot of these folks are going to be further towards the back of the town. So he's done. Who else needs to, can move? Well, 1, 2, put him here. 1, 2. So I didn't want to stack earlier because we were in open, but I don't mind stacking in a building. Then these guys, 1, 2, we can go into the woods. Actually, we can put him right in here. So everybody, a leader and 3 squads, that's maxed. And put him here in the woods as backup. Dano. There's that. Let's move it up a little bit. There you go. I don't know if that moved up at all. And right like that. All right. If I say no, I need to pull that off. Okay. Should be it, right? That was the movement, American movement phase. Defensive fire phase. We've got nothing. We've got 3 German squads, 2 of them broken, 1 with nobody adjacent. That brings us to advancing fire phase, and we got plenty we can do there. I forgot who. Nobody can do anything here because they prep fired, right? Or can they fire at area as area fire, have firepower? I think they can. No, I don't. Damn it, I don't remember. Let me check that. Prep fire. This is actually advanced fire phase. Let's just look at that and see what it says. Advanced fire phase, I forget. Advanced phase. Where's advanced fire? Units that did not fire in the prep fire phase. Yeah, okay, so they can't fire. But the Americans, so okay. So these guys in this hex here, prep fire, they're done. You're done. This guy can. He can fire. It is typically have firepower, but I believe these guys have an underlined, yes they do, which allows assault fire, and that means what? It means it allows any squad using its own firepower during the advanced fire phase to add 1 firepower to its attack. So we will do that in kind. That brings us to an 8. Instead of the 7 column, we will have a +2 modifier for the wooden building we're firing at. And terrible roll, nothing. Absolutely nothing doing there. And then we'll fire here with these guys. So, and that was wrong anyway. I did that wrong anyway. That was supposed to be half, not full. 7, and there's no 7, 6, so half would be 3. No, 3 drops to 2. Plus 1 would be 3. There is no 3, so it stays 2, which is weird to me. Why even have assault fire capability if it doesn't raise you a column? I'm probably doing something wrong. We'll keep moving though. And 2, 4, 6 would be our firepower because of the 3 squads. -1 die roll modifier, so only a +1 die roll modifier for the back half of the building there. What do we got? Talk to me. 4, 5, 6 +1 morale check. Leader first. Roll 3 and makes it 4. He's fine. +1 morale check on broken half squad. 5, 6, 7, 8. 9. He just broke again. Is he done now, finally? Maybe? I gotta look that up. Well, I'll check and see here. An already broken unit that fails a morale check suffers casualty reduction. So there's where I confused. Not a rally, but a broken morale check, you suffer casualty reduction. So he is gone. Bye. So there's our first German squad casualty. So now it is 2 U.S. squads and a U.S. leader to 1 German squad. That's that. That leaves a leader in the by himself there in this hex. I'm gonna completely flood these rules, and he's just gonna move adjacent to into that other hex with the squad there. I don't care. That's what's happening. That's what would happen. That's what happened. He just dashed to the adjacent hex. Okay, so that was advanced fire phase. I think that's it for advanced fire phase on the route phase. Anybody need a route? Now's the time. Route break. Anybody? Route them if you got them. All right, last chance. Fine. Now advanced phase. Now here's what's cool, right? So we can move here and claim another building hex for the U.S. Perez, which makes 1, 2, 3, 4 victory points of our required 10. So we're a little under halfway there. And I think that's all we'll do. Nope, it is not all we'll do. We'll put him there as well. We'll leave him there. Leave that like that. And that's it. But again, in doing so, we just advanced and placed ourselves within, I don't know if you guys can see what's going on. Let's try and move the camera up now. Right up here. Shaky cam. Bear with me. Let's go right here. Maybe that helps. Maybe it doesn't. We have, what can you see? We have a guy here. He's got here. I think it does help. German squad. No, you can't see them. We have a broken German squad here behind this building. American squad's here. American squad's here in the back of this building. And these guys in the woods occupied this building right behind this building right here has a German squad and a leader in it. So there's that. So new potential German resistance triggered. That's going to be from a few places. Let's see if he has. I'm going to say he does not. So we'll check here. Anybody there? Anybody home? Yep. What is it? It's a regular German squad. Does he have an attached leader? That's a good question. We'll draw for that. Attached leader, yes. Which attached leader? Is it the 9 neg 1 or the 8 neg 0? We'll roll d6. 1, 2, 3, 9 neg 1. Got a 3, 9 neg 1. Is the attached leader. Is anybody else triggered? Trigger warnings. It's just like working at the library. Trigger warnings. Yes, the front half of this 2-hex building has been triggered. More potential German resistance. Fresh, ready to go German resistance. We shall draw. And we get, no. We get nothing. I think that is it. That was just from the advanced phase, correct? I believe. So, anybody else? We would be able to trigger this building here, but this building here being, you can't see it. Let me move the angle again a little bit. This building here. We would trigger this building here. But there's like a little courtyard with some cover in front of it, so it's not triggered. I think that's it. That leaves close combat if we want it. And I think we do. This could end poorly. I could have chosen poorly again, but it's going to be 2-to-1 odds. Close combat is going to be, can you see? Let's move the tree for a second. From the back half of this building occupied by 2 American squads. Adjacent to this half of the building occupied by a Fallschirmjäger squad and a leader. So there's what's going on. 2-to-1 odds for the Americans at least, and then 1-to-2 for the Germans. We'll roll that up. 2-to-1. We need 7 or less, and we didn't get it. Can you believe this? Watch, they're going to roll it. I guarantee you. 1-to-2. They needed 4 or less. No, they didn't get it either. Let's take that away. All right. Move this first fire marker. Move this prep fire marker. It's going to be the Germans' turn. Ouch. Okay. Ready? German turn. After this turn, I'm going to kill it. This German turn. Rally phase. Any broken anythings? What things are broken? Pray tell. We still have 1 German squad here broken in the church. Let's roll for him. It's 8 or less. And he got it. Good for you. Pat yourself on the back. Oh, he's just a half squad now, huh? Yeah. All right. Forgot about that. And then we get, that's it, right? Yes. Prep fire phase. You know, shoot your best shot here. 2 strength squad and see what you can do. Adding 2. Yeah, nothing. Just like I figured. You got to try, though. You just have to try sometimes. Same deal here. I need to move the camera so you can see better what's going on. This tree's in the way. I'll knock it down. So what are we doing? We're firing with prep firing with Christ. This German squad heading into that building here. Ready? Here we go. It is 5, and then he's got a light machine gun. Brings it to 8, adding 2 for the wooden building. 11 is what he rolled, so nothing going on there. He gets marked with prep fire marker. Why is he already marked with 1? I guess I hadn't removed the earlier one. Anybody else? Yes, absolutely. We have, can't see it. Let's move it where you can see it. I know the camera's all wonky and going nuts, but that's how it goes. These guys here will also fire at the Americans in this building here that we're just fired at. And that's going to be just a 4 strength firepower going in there with leader directed fire at -1 and do +2 building leads +1 of those IRO modifiers. So 5, 6, 7 is a pin task check. I'm not even going to roll for that because they're not moving anyway. Doesn't matter if they're pinned. I think that does it for prep fires. On the Germans, they're in movement phase, so we did have some auto German movement that we needed to correct for potential triggers, and that would be everything's fine here, nothing left here. They wouldn't move across here to there. I had something over here that needed to be fixed, so the Germans in, still don't know if you can see what I'm doing. I'll take your word for it. This back building behind the church, they're going to move up to the front of the building. So they'll be triggered. In fact, they're triggered now because now they have those guys in line of sight. So let's roll for that. Don't know that they'll be able to do anything because the phases in which they were able to prep fire have now passed, but I'm still going to roll for them. Plus, that moves them in line of sight of the Americans anyway, so Americans could have a shot at them if there's somebody in there, and there is. It is a squad with a light machine gun. The front of this building that just moved up and decided to say hi. Is there a leader? Is there an attached leader? We don't know. There is. So our final leader is in that building. Is at 890. Attached to the squad with a light machine gun. So that only leaves 2 German squads that have yet to be triggered and exposed. And let's be realistic about it. As the Americans are preoccupied with the Germans adjacent to this hex, I don't think they'd be too concerned about Germans 4 or 5 hexes away in a building. So let's say they didn't see them. And then that leaves movement phase, so defensive fire phase for the Americans. You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to do point blank fire on the German shot that would take place here. So to be fair, I have to do non-point blank fire back to balance that because I messed up. So 7 would be 14, no 14 drops to 12. Where's for a first fire marker? 12 plus 2 leader? No, just plus 2. Nice roll. 3, 4, 5 plus 2 morale check. Leader first. 3, 4, 5. He passes, believe it or not. And then plus 2, need an 8 or less. 8. Rolled an 8. Add 2 gets 10. He broke. So that was lucrative. Then we have squad here that can fire, yes. Shall do so. That's just going to be 6 leader directed fire -1. So +1 for the building. Terrible, he cowers, nothing. So he's done. And then we have another marker. 2 squads in here trying to finish off the half squad in the church. 7 and 7 is 14. There is no 14, drops to 12. Leader directed fire, -1, so +1 for the building. Ah, nice. But we cower, so maybe not nice. 5, yeah, still nice. +2 morale check. And 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He's fine. Wow, he got lucky there. And then advanced phase for the Germans. Are they advancing? Nobody's advancing. Would anybody advance? You know, I have cover this building here with a cover in the hex directly in front of it, and I'm wondering if the Germans would advance. No, they'd stay there. They wouldn't. They would stay there. Well, we could have had close combat with the Germans moving in here, but then he's broken, but also it would have been 1 to 2 odds, so no. That brings us to American turn. And another dropped die that the cat would eat. Here it is. Cat can't eat dice. So now it's the American turn again, and I said I would stop, and I will. We'll do a recap and get some questions that might have been asked. A little housekeeping here. As I do housekeeping, we'll start to recap. We have 10 of these 18 building hexes that need to be US controlled. They have at this point 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. Not a bad little sum this early in the game. US have lost 2 squads, 1 leader. Germans have lost 1 squad. Still 2 squads to activate somewhere. Could potentially be somewhere in this block, I presume. Both of them. Because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 building hexes that haven't been triggered yet. Only other trigger hex that we're looking for is this garden, this walled garden. Could be somebody in there. Again, something I pointed at you probably can't see because everything's blocking it. But again, it's trying a new camera angle here. In fact, let me back up. You can see from their American perspective. You know what? Let's just do it this way. I'm going to give you a quick overhead view. So drone attack view. That's what we're looking at. If that makes anything a little more relative and logical in your minds. But again, wanted to keep it more like a atypical first person kind of perspective for this stuff here. What else? I think that's it. So comments, let's review those. Evening, yes, thank you, Charles. Wardrobe, how you doing, boss? ASL Ministry, yes, sir. A little of that. Off to go to watch Rick and Morty with the kid. Good job. It's a good show. Have fun, and the minis look great. Thank you, sir. I assume those are 15 mil. Yes, they are. They look like they're on. Yeah, I lost you on the last one. There are 15 mil. This old Flames of War guys that I painted. The bases that they're on are a little unorthodox, if you can see here. You know what these are already? These are single bases for single dust warfare tactic figures, and I've repurposed them for stands for 15 mil World War II stuff. Did it a lot with the repurposing, kit bashing. What scale? Yes, 15 millimeter. Yes, technically, not conflict 47, but close. These are old dust, tactical dust warfare bases. They work great. They look good. And looking good. Thanks, Hex to Hex. Thank you guys for watching. This was a last-minute decision to film this. I guess in retrospect, I'm glad I did. Again, to restate, I did this scenario just like this 2 nights ago and filmed it and was going to post it. But I had so many pauses and things to look up, and it was so non-fluid as far as what was going on. I guess you could argue, well, you can pause while you look things up. But I mean, even then, it would have been extremely disjointed to watch. So I just refused to post it. And it was kind of gnawing at me ever since. The fact that I had spent that time with nothing to show for it. So I was kind of motivated to give it another shot. And again, glad I did. Glad you guys tagged along. I don't know if we'll see more of this. We may or may not. But it's hard to say. All right, guys, have a good night and a good rest of your weekend.